Welcome back, everyone, to OpenLine. Talking real estate, the changes that we are seeing in the real estate market. Happy to have with us Gabriela Lira with Compass. She is a real estate broker with Compass. And I said, as we went to break, what about if you want to sell now? So we've talked about the changes in the market. Yeah. It used to be you want to sell, all you have to do is just put up a sign and you get, the offers come in. What about now, and is this still a good time to sell?
The market was so hot that sellers were doing for sale by owners. When they put their homes on the market, they had to do nothing to prepare. They just put it on there because there was such a high demand, so many buyers for so little homes that they knew no matter what it was going to sell. But now you can still sell. You can still sell for top dollar, but you need to do it right. And to do it right, 3 factors play into that. Number 1, you need to get your house market ready. So you do that by decluttering, depersonalizing, spruce it up, add a little fresh paint here, add some mulch, do things to make your house feel bright and refreshed. Make repairs. What about those things you've been putting off forever? It's time to get to them. Definitely get to them before you put your home on the market, because a buyer's going to walk in, and if they see, trim falling down or whatever the project is that you haven't gotten to do yet, or your honey to do has not gotten to do it yet, like would be in my case, then they're going to see that and they're going to start subtracting from your asking price in their mind, and we don't want them to do that. Sometimes you need to bring in a professional stager so that they can tell you what is the best way to arrange your furniture to make those photos look beautiful and have people fall in love with your house before they even come to see it. So number 1, make sure that your house is market ready. Number 2, come up with a great pricing strategy. So in the past, I felt like sellers were just picking a number out of thin air, right? And saying like, I don't really need to move, but if I get this, I'll definitely go. Now we are no longer in that market. Your pricing needs to be based on comparable sales in your neighborhood. And so now you have to come up with a great pricing strategy so that it attracts the most amount of buyers to come and see your home. And third, you can't just put it on the MLS now and expect hundreds of people to come see it. You actually have to have a great multi-channel marketing plan so that you can reach your target demographic and reach the right buyers.
What feature would you say are buyers most looking for? What would excite buyers most? What might not excite them the most?
Well, I'll tell you that COVID had a really big impact on buyer desires. So in the past, people weren't spending that much time at home. They were out at the gym, they were out at the office, they were out hanging out with friends at restaurants. But after and during COVID, right, people decided like, oh my gosh, I'm so cramped in my house. I need more space. And they also decided, and I need some outdoor space that's just private, that's just mine. So now we're seeing people were going towards smaller places. Now they want more square footage and they want outdoor spaces that are not shared outdoor spaces. Also, people like open concept living areas. So, little to no walls is another thing.
I would think during COVID it might make you want walls, but I don't know. I thought during COVID that whole open floor plan, that might have imploded. Like people are like, I need my space, but that's not the case. So they want open.
That's not the case, yeah. Offices have always been popular, but even more after COVID, because again, right, people were now having to work from home because their offices may have closed down. And flex spaces are a big deal because maybe you need that second office, or the gym's closed down, so you needed to create a workout area in your home. So you need a flex space that could be used for whatever it is you needed.
What's the room in the house that you think is most important? Let's say you could only make one room like really top notch, update, whatever, one room. What is it?
It hasn't changed in all these years. It is still the kitchen.
The kitchen. That's what I thought. All right.
Yeah.
And those are expensive.
The kitchen is the heart of the home, guys.
All right, there we go, the kitchen. All right, what about the number of real estate brokers?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, you drive around there, it seems like there are a lot. Are there too many? How many are there? What about in Davidson County? What about the number of real estate brokers?
There are thousands of agents in Davidson County. And, you know, I've always said that barriers to entry are very low to become a real estate agent. You take a not so difficult course and you take a test and you pass, and there you go. You are now able to deal with the largest asset that most people will ever own. Right? So it's a lot of responsibility for very little training and education that you're requiring. So I have always been a big proponent of raising those standards and not making it as easy for people to get a real estate license, because it is a very, very critical, important role that we're playing. There are too many agents, if you ask me, but I think that this market is going to weed a lot of those people out, because when the market's hot, everybody thinks it's easy money, right? So it truly wasn't easy money, because for buyers, for example, if you were representing a buyer, maybe in the past you wrote 1 or 2 offers, they go under contract, they get a home. Well, during this hot market, you were writing 7, 8 offers before one of them was actually accepted. So you were doing much, much more work than people think you were doing. Then on the seller side, you know, if in a normal market, you're getting maybe 1 offer, if you're lucky 2, and then you're sitting down and evaluating 2 offers with your seller. Well, in a really hot market, maybe you have 20 offers or 30 offers. So now you're having to implement new systems to be able to fairly present these offers to your client. So it was a lot more work during the hot market for sure, but people thought it was easy and I could make a quick dollar. So lots and lots of new agents got licensed during that time period. And I think right now, you know, the cream always rises to the top. So a lot of people who were just in it, not as a career, we're going to see them go away.
What, in your opinion, would be an appropriate standard for entry? You said it's too easy, just 1 test, that kind of. What would be an appropriate standard for entry?
Maybe we should have a professional school for it, right? Like attorneys, doctors, they all have to go to a professional school to be able to do this. Realtors, maybe that's the next step. Maybe we have a professional school. Once you become licensed, there are certifications you can get. There's the Graduate Real Estate Institute, of which I'm a member of. But it's not until after you get licensed that this happens.
Let's go to Nicholas, who is on the line. Hello, Nicholas.
How are you doing? Is it Ben and Gabriela? Is that correct?
Yes.
That's right. Go right ahead. We're doing great.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I noticed that this is for Gabby, I noticed you lived in the Los Angeles area in particular one time, so you'll probably understand where I'm coming from with this question. Mm-hmm. I was born in Memphis, lived in Los Angeles for a few years as a child, back to Memphis, then came up here in 97 to attend Tennessee State University.
Yeah.
And knowing that, say, last time I've been in LA was like in the mid-90s or mid to late 90s. And what are the home buying expectations different for somebody who came from like 21st century LA, 21st century San Francisco, 21st century NYC, compared to what would be a long-time Nashvilleian like Kim earlier or myself?
Interesting.
Yeah.
The home buying expectations.
Yeah, you know, I have actually heard really positive comments from people moving from those areas here. A lot of times they say that the homes that they're seeing are so cookie cutter at times, or there's not a lot of great design work going into those homes. And it makes me really proud to hear that, because they're telling us that we have great interior design, that they love that not all the homes are looking the same, that builders are making an effort to at least change the elevations of the home and make them a little bit different and unique. So I've heard really positive things from those people.
And so is that true? Homes, you think they are more cookie cutter in some of those larger cities, maybe out west?
I think they can be, especially, you know, if you come from Southern California and maybe not LA proper, but one of the suburbs, they have all these master plan communities and they are very similar looking.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say, what should we avoid? What can we learn from what has happened in other cities, and what should we try to avoid, in your opinion, if possible?
Well, the one thing I hear a lot is what happened with Atlanta, right? Atlanta has so much traffic, and there are areas that only have homes, but to drive to your grocery store or to your restaurant, you have to drive through traffic for so long, right? But now we're seeing these really interesting communities like West Haven and Berry Farms, and where they are incorporating housing of different types. So not just single family homes, you're seeing townhomes, you're seeing condos, all within the same community. And then you have your retail area within that community too. So you have a grocery store, and you might have your doctor's office or your insurance agent there, and you have a restaurant or two and a coffee shop. So it just makes living so much more easy.
Atlanta is a little spread out, and it's gotten criticized for that. And do you feel like we're meeting that? We're not going to be there? Are we walkable enough? And all of Middle Tennessee, are you seeing that? Are we cognizant of that? Do you think we're trying not to be that way, or do we have work to do?
So there's always work to do, but I'm an optimist, and I am seeing some thoughtful planning happening. And I think that as the market slows down a little bit, which is happening now, then there can be more thought put into, you know, building and more planning than just having to push out product to meet demand. So I like us to be more thoughtful.
All right, we'll take a break. Come back. If you want to call in, there's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. We'll be back right after this.